Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Modern Warfare in Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Uzi SMG, which is one of the most unique and weirdest weapons in Modern Warfare. And I will say that it's a very unique weapon, but unfortunately unique doesn't always mean useful because it isn't a very good weapon. I would rather spend the evening in Junji Ito's nightmare-filled world of Uzumaki than I would using the Uzi in Modern Warfare. It may have a niche in hardcore though, but this is going to be an overall rough review, and I am aware that there are some of you out there that really love this weapon and understand why. Just don't think it's a good idea. So let's take a look at the damage. It has a base damage of 33 to 18, which is a very normal damage for SMGs in pretty much any Call of Duty game. You've seen these numbers many times before. What that means is it will kill between 4 and 6 shots depending on how far away you are from the enemies. However, it does have several unique damage areas. Headshots will deal 55 to 29 damage. Most importantly, the upper chest, which is kind of like, above the belly button, will deal 34 to 18 damage, which will make it a 3-shot kill weapon, and shooting in the limbs is going to lower your shots to kill pretty much across the board. What you want to do is you want to get as many upper chest shots in as possible to maximize your 3-shot kill potential. There's not a lot of SMGs in Modern Warfare that are 3-shot kills, and the Uzi's one of them, and that's really what you want to be doing, and that's important because the weapon shoots so slowly you don't want to have to add a 4th shot. So let's talk about the next rough thing, which is the rate of fire. The rate of fire is 600 rounds per minute, which is very slow for an SMG. It's the slowest firing SMG in the game, and it's generally slow for a weapon in Call of Duty, period, overall. So I was a little bit surprised by that. Combined with the mediocre damage and very slow rate of fire, there's one other thing we have to keep in mind, and that's that since it's an open bolt weapon, there's a trigger delay on the Uzi, so it won't shoot the instant you pull the trigger. There's going to be a very slight delay while the weapon, for lack of a better word, winds up. So the overall result of all of this is that the Uzi is one of the slowest killing weapons in Modern Warfare, period. Just kind of like across the board, there are very few weapons that kill as slowly as the Uzi. So at pretty much no range and in no situation and versus no enemy will you ever have a time to kill advantage over any player with the Uzi. You're just going to be kind of high and dry there, and you're going to have to deal with that, which is definitely not ideal. If you're curious about the 3-shot kill ranges, like maybe it's got like an awesome range or something, which is what I was kind of expecting. I was like, okay, with this kind of performance, it's going to have some god tier range. No, that's not really true. The base range is 14 meters with 13.1 inch barrel. It'll go up to 17, and with the 16.5 inch barrel, it'll go up to 19 meters. None of these is crazy. None of these is impressive, especially given the low rate of fire, and that won't help redeem your weapon. We will take a minute to talk about aim down sights times for the Uzi because they are important, so you want to be able to react faster with your weapon to help mitigate some of that slow time to kill. The base is 250 milliseconds. If you put the 8-inch barrel on there, which is almost like a snub nose, it goes to 216. The tac laser had a very impressive change, dropping the aim down sights time down to 183 milliseconds. No stock and stifled were 216, and the close quarter stock was 333, or roughly 2 frames. So what my takeaway from this is the stippled grip tape and the tac laser are going to be the ways to go to reduce your aim down sights time because those don't have any significant downsides, whereas all of the others do. Moving along, let's take a look at sprint out times, which are a lot more simple. The base is 250 milliseconds, same as the aim down sights time. The stippled tape will take it down to 200, and the 5 milliwatt laser actually drops it to 183. So if you want the best sprint out times, probably go ahead and use the 5 milliwatt laser. That'll get you reacting faster than anything else, but it will come at the cost of everybody being able to see your laser, which is why I generally kind of avoid this weapon. No crazy promos today, and just wanted to let you know that it's still 25% off of almost everything during Astro's Now Cyber Monday sale. It's the same sale as Black Friday, still going on. It stacks with my 5%, which can get you up to 30% off of any Astro product, which is a huge saving. I don't have any really creative, awesome thing to show you today because I'm ridiculously far behind on my production because of holidays, but there is some fun things coming. But if you wanted to pick up an Astro headset, your time to do so at a massive discount is rapidly coming to an end. Let's move back into the rest of the episode where I talk about some of maybe the good things that the Uzi has going for it. Some of the very few. And the first one is that the Uzi does have very low and very predictable recoil. It is not a difficult weapon to aim with, and in the submachine gun class, I'm going to say that it is the lowest and most predictable recoil, perhaps more so than the LMGs or rifles as well. And I think what the devs wanted this one to be like is sort of the easy-to-use, high-accuracy SMG in the game that could maybe be kind of up-converted into being like an AR SMG hybrid. And that roughly matches how I felt when I was firing the real-life Uzi. And I know that this is like where all the gun nerds are going to come out and tell me I live in California and I've never handled a weapon in my life. But the Uzi is my favorite SMG of all of the ones that I've fired. I found it to be the most accurate, the easiest to aim with, the easiest to use. Not a fan of the open bolt, really don't like that for a whole lot of reasons, but as far as just raw shooting performance, it was a fantastic weapon. And I think that's kind of what they were trying to do, but they tried too hard to keep it realistic, but still have like 4 shots to kill, which isn't realistic. Anyway, it definitely plays best when you kit it for accuracy. I got my best results out of the Uzi when I went for reducing recoil, increasing range, and deciding to play more conservative. You can kit it for speed and aggression, and one of the unique things about it is that the Uzi has a hipfire box that spreads slower than any of the other weapons in Modern Warfare. If you want to learn more about that, I would highly recommend you check out my episode on laser sights and hipfire mechanics. But basically, all of the weapons in Modern Warfare, you reach your maximum hipfire after like 2, 3, maybe 4 shots generously. The Uzi maintains a pretty tight box and spreads very slowly, so you can dump half of a mag before you're at that maximum spread. So you would think with this unique hipfire box you could put a laser on it and the Uzi would be like a god tier hipfire weapon. Unfortunately, due to the slow rate of fire, and which would be the slower time to kill, and the fact that you have a trigger delay, this is a very bad weapon to try hipfiring with. You will not kill very many people hipfiring with the Uzi, and I would strongly, strongly recommend against that tactic. Magazine size is 40, which you will need all of to kill an enemy, I assure you, and it can be increased up to 50 or 60. I haven't been using big mag attachments for most of my weapons because I don't need them, but given the fact of how many bullets it's going to take to kill with the Uzi, and how I really don't want to get caught reloading, I do use larger magazines on this particular weapon. The reload times are 1.34 seconds for empty, 1.45 for full, and this is very fast for SMGs. This is the second fastest in the game. I think the AUG has the fastest, but this is right close to it. And, you know, it's weird that numerically it's this fast, but it feels slower in game because the animation is a little bit longer. You're going to kind of want to reload cancel if you want to get your maximum reload time out of these kinds of weapons. In my opinion, the iron sights are too obstructive to use at long ranges, and I strongly dislike them. They're good enough to where I can use them okay up close, to where, you know, in a normal SMG range, I don't have difficulty tracking enemies. But the range at which the Uzi works best is very long ranges. They're too obstructive and too bulky and have too much going on with them to do that, because if the weapon kicks or I flinch, I will completely lose sight of the enemies, which will almost certainly get me killed. The 9mm rounds have essentially no wall penetration, so don't bother wall banging. You're not going to be doing a whole lot of work like that. And in my opinion, the Uzi is one of the worst weapons in Modern Warfare, like in the entire game. I can't think of a weapon offhand that I think is worse. I'm trying to think, maybe the Origin 12 shotgun, maybe? The Uzi's pretty rough. There's not really a situation where you're going to have a lot of advantage with this one, and I want to like it because it's unique. It has this unique feel, this open bolt, this accuracy thing, this weird hipfire box, but the time to kill is just way too slow for Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare is a game where you pick people very, very quickly, where you laser them, where you die almost instantly to M4 users that are mounted getting you headshots. And when your weapon can take 4, 5, maybe more shots to kill, when it shoots really slowly, when the enemy can literally shoot twice as fast as you, none of the other good handling attributes about the Uzi is going to compete with that, which just kind of sucks. I will say though, it's not a bad assault rifle SMG hybrid type weapon for hardcore modes. If you're going to be playing hardcore in Modern Warfare, it's not the worst weapon because it doesn't take 1, maybe 2 shots to kill, and you have roughly the range and accuracy of a rifle and roughly the handling of an SMG, so it could be a very good weapon in hardcore. Finally, at the end of the episode, I'm going to talk about what I think is the best setup for the Uzi, Uzi, and that is a long-range setup. I got by far my best gameplay, by far my best results, and everything when I was not playing aggressively with the Uzi, and instead when I was doing a lot of long-range engagements and kind of taking advantage of my ability to aim a little bit better than some of my more random enemies. The long-range setup might look something like an optic of choice, so you can see what you're aiming at. The longest barrel that you currently have unlocked, I'd recommend 16.1, a compensator to cut down on your vertical recoil, commando grip to add extra aiming stability and to reduce your horizontal recoil, and probably extended mags, because you're going to need the extra ammo, and it's just nice to have because it takes a lot of shots to kill people. If you didn't want extended mags, you might could add something like a rubberized grip on there, or maybe sleight of hand or recon, but I think extended mags works the best. Guys, that is all for this episode. The thing that I want you to keep in mind is just don't use the Uzi. I wouldn't recommend it for pretty much anything. It's a really rough weapon. It's fun, it looks neat, but it's rough. And if you want to really challenge yourself, sure, most of you don't. Most of you are looking for the best weapons. This isn't one of them. If you enjoyed this episode, if you learned something useful, or if you need an Astro headset, there's a link down there in the description to it. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, or buy a headset. Drifter out.